whisper rambling, or if I should do a jewelry favorites show and tell or jewelry collection. It's probably gonna end up being a favorites, because if I do the whole collection it'll be like 3 hours long probably. And so the story time one, but I'm gonna do both. I probably should have said that when I asked the question. I'm gonna do both. I just wanted to know which one to do first. So the jewelry show and tell will be coming eventually. I don't think it's gonna be the next video, but it'll be coming. But I am just going to ramble on about my job history, every job that I have had in my life thus far, and I'm going to be chewing some gum. Don't panic. I know I saw a couple of comments on the community post. I am not one to like chomp and like forcefully chew my gum. It's just gonna be like a subtle thing in the background. So I think even if you don't like chewing sounds, because trust me, I don't really either, I think you'll be okay. Also, as you can see, Maya is right here on this chair, so you will see some movement probably if you're wondering what is that ball of fur that keeps moving. That would be Maya. She needs a haircut and she looks like a mop, so she's not exactly camera ready. She's a snorer though, so hopefully she doesn't snore too loud. Alright, so this is spearmint, in case you're wondering. You probably weren't. Anyway, it just started snowing. I'm right in front of the window, so I have a nice view. So we're just gonna get cozy and we're going to begin. So I'm gonna start from like the very, very beginning up until now. So when I was, for reference, I'm 24 years old, in case you didn't know. Okay, so when I was a kid, I told you we're going way back. When I was a kid, I'm gonna guess maybe 5 or 6 years old, something like that. I had my first job. I got my first written check. Obviously it was written out to like my dad probably, but so our neighbor, who is still, my aunt still lives in the same house that, you know, she shared with my grandma when I was growing up, so she still lives in the same place. I'm there all the time, and this guy is still our neighbor to this day. His name is Egidio, and he is an older Italian man from Italy, so he and my grandmother were like best friends. He's still a very close family friend. Every summer, for my whole life, from June to the beginning of September, he goes to Italy he has like a summer house, and it's like northern Italy, so he can see like the Swiss Alps, and it's beautiful. And never been invited, but it's fine. No, I'm sure we were, but we've just never been. I don't know. But anyway, he would go every summer, except for this past summer because of COVID reasons. But anyway, so what would happen is his sister, who also lived kind of close by, oh, that was my throat, that was gross, but I'm not gonna cut it out, excuse me, I'm sorry. She would come over and take care of his animals. When I was younger, when I first started like helping out, he had a parrot and a cat, and I'm pretty sure that was it. The cat's name was Peachy, and the parrot's name was Tweety. And I would, essentially, because I was very close with the family, like we were all comfortable together, my family was comfortable with letting me go over there, and I would essentially help his sister feed the cat, feed the bird, clean out the bird's cage. Because of Tweety, I never wanted a bird. Those things are dirty, and Tweety was mean. so she was balding in a lot of areas, and she just looked terrifying. So anyway, so I would go over and I would help Ejidio's sister take care of his animals and just, you know, like clean out their areas, litter box, take out the garbage, like basically just make sure that his house continues to run in his absence. And so I have a vivid memory of being on the back porch with his sister and my dad, and she wrote me a check. I don't remember how much it was, but it obviously wasn't a lot. It was probably like $5-10. But that's what I would do. I would help her for the whole summer. I would go over every day. And honestly, how nice is that of his sister to like volunteer 3 months out of the year every day to go to his house and take care of his animals? Like, now that I think about it, that's crazy. You know, they were older, so I think she was retired, but still, it's a lot. So anyway, so that was job numero uno. We're gonna skip forward quite a bit, probably. We're gonna skip maybe like 10 years into the future. When I was 15, I started waitressing. I waitressed from 15 to 21, but at various places. We'll get into that. But my first ever waitressing exposure, I had no practice, no idea what I was doing, was for my dad's catering company. My dad co-owned, or I guess he still kind of does, but again, with COVID, it's not really a thing at the moment, but he co-owned a catering company with his business partner, who I have known my whole life. They've been friends for a long time. And it was a traveling catering company. Oh, I thought she was going to jump down. We're good. It was a traveling catering company. It wouldn't go far. But usually where they would cater to, we would have to take a ferry. And so the whole crew, my dad, the chef, his 2 assistants, it was usually 1 or 2 assistant chefs, his business partner, all of us waiters. The number of us would depend on basically how big the party was. But we would travel on the ferry, and with all of the, like, everything, like tablecloths, plates, cups, like we brought everything, all the food in big crates so that they could cook it at the house or the venue, wherever we were going. It was a lot of work. My dad put me to work. I was young, very young, but because, you know, it was my dad, I was able to work that young. And they were long days, man. Like, I think about doing one of those days now, and I don't know if, I mean, I could do it, but I wouldn't want to. They were like 12 to 14-hour days. I would leave my house at like, I don't know, maybe 7. Again, it would depend on what kind of party it was. Was it during the day? Was it at night? You know, it would depend. But normally, let's just say we would leave the house at 8, get to the ferry by like 9:30, because it was quite a drive. Load everything onto the ferry. Take the ferry. The ferry was maybe like a 25 to 30 minute ride. Get there, unload everything, walk it to the house, because the place that it was on like a little island where there are no cars. So you have to walk everything. So we had like rolly bags. The island would sometimes provide us with a cart to put stuff on it, but we ourselves were walking. So we would get there, we would walk. Everything was on a boardwalk because it was pretty much sand everywhere. Again, there were no roads. It was just boardwalks, and you just walk and stuff. And we would have to do everything from getting to the venue, loading everything in, setting up the room, you know, helping the chefs bring all the food into the kitchen. I learned how to dress tables because all the waiters that I worked with, I was by far the youngest. I was 15, like I said. The rest of them were in their mid 20s and up. I think one of them was maybe 40. They were all older than me, and they were all pretty much men. I think there was one other waitress, and she didn't work very often. It was all men and me, and I was 15, and I was incredibly intimidated. Everybody was nice, but again, like, it was my first waitressing job. I had no idea what I was doing, so I think I'm sure I was annoying in the beginning because they had to teach me everything. Like, I would just kind of stand there and be like, so what do I do, you know? But they were all pros, so they would like start banging out the tablecloths and like folding them a certain way and tying them underneath the table so that they looked good. And so, you know, I was never really like trained. I was just kind of thrown into it, and it was like, go learn as you do, and go learn as you work. But you know what? I'm thankful for now, because it taught me, you know, how to work and how to, I don't know, just like be a quick learner, and I don't know. So, anyways, I was telling you the hours. So, again, depending on what time the party was done, but there were times where we would get home at like midnight, 1, maybe like from 11 p.m. anytime to like 1 a.m. So that's more than a 12-hour day. That's a long day. Like, it was a whole day affair. I will say though, it was worth it, because I'll just tell you, because you know what, we're being honest here, open discussion. The pay was good. I would make, again, depending, but let's say we did like a big wedding, right? I would make like $450 in a day, which for a 15-year-old, that's pretty good. The only thing was though, like, I wasn't working like every day. Obviously, I was in school. I would do, when I first started, when I was really young, I would probably do like 4 parties a month, maybe, but it was always different, you know, so I wasn't like making bank, but like for one day, that's pretty good, and that would last me until like, you know, the next job I did. So the pay was really good, because in catering, they like pay you a fee, but then there's also gratuity with it, the tip. So I did that on and off from like 15 to 20. As I got older, it kind of became like a side job, like just when I was available, rather than that being like my only job. But that catering was always kind of in the background, and it was good. I mean, from a young age, it forced me to have people skills. You know, I would have to go up to a group of people. What can I get you? Can I offer you this and that and whatever, you know? So it forced me to become more comfortable with strangers. So that was good for me. Alright, so that was the catering, and that went on for a while. Now, my first job, like with working papers, was at a froyo place when I was a senior in high school. I didn't work there very long. I worked there probably from like maybe April or May of my senior year to August, right before I started college. I worked at a Red Mango. For those of you who, I know Red Mango isn't like all over the country, but it's in a good number of places. I worked at a Red Mango, and I would do everything. I would make the yogurt, I would cut the fruit, I would work the cash register, I would make smoothies. Around the time that I left, they were trying to develop their juice bar. That became the new thing, but I wasn't there for that for very long. It was fun working there because I got free froyo and like free like the toppings, like the chocolate and stuff. But the management that I worked for wasn't very nice, and we worked, it was in like a gas station, So it was like the gas station mart, which was attached to a Subway, which was attached to us. And so we got some interesting people come in. I never really liked that too much. The management wasn't very good. I remember one day I was put on the schedule for the 7 a.m. shift. It was like the opening shift. I had never opened before. I had no idea how to turn on the machines. You have to like clean them beforehand. And I didn't know how to do any of that. And so I went in early, but I told the manager, I was like, I literally have no idea. I was like, you have to help me, because I was relatively new at the time. And just like, I don't know, the management wasn't good. I was also there in the shop by myself that early, like with money in the cash register. Like, I think it should always be 2 people. I don't think you should ever be alone in a place like that with money in the cash register. Young girls, we were like 17, I don't know. It wasn't my favorite. The manager wasn't very personable. He didn't speak a lot of English. He did, but it wasn't very good English. But I worked there with one of my best friends at the time. Her name was Taylor. We're not really friends anymore, but we were friends from like kindergarten all throughout college. I think I've spoken about her in my videos before, but she started working there before me, and my parents really wanted me to get a job, and I didn't like really know how to find one, so I kind of was just like, Taylor, ask them if they're hiring. And they said yeah, and I think she gave them my number. Either she gave them my number or I went in, I don't remember. And I signed the papers and I started working, so she really helped me get that job. I didn't make a lot at all, but it was, money in my pocket. And my friends would like come visit me sometimes, and this Red Mango was like right down the street from me, like a 3-4 minute drive. And even all throughout college, I would stop there every once in a while and get a smoothie. And I would see a couple of the girls that worked there when I worked there. 2 of them were the owner's daughters, and I'm pretty sure like they still work there to this day, I think. So I would like stop in and be like, hey, what's up? And get a smoothie. Smoothies are bomb. Red mango strawberry banana smoothie. I haven't had it in years. I would love one right now. Anyway, so that was that. And then when I was gonna start school, I went to school locally, so I technically could have kept working there, but I don't know. I don't know. I guess I just kind of quit, which looking back on it now isn't really that admirable of me, but I used school as an excuse. I didn't really tell them where I was going to school. I was just like, I'm going to school. Thanks for a good summer, bye. And I think my friend did the same. But that happens in places like that, like with teenagers, you're not in it for the long haul. So I don't feel that bad. And they were fully staffed, so it's not like we left them hanging. But anyway, so I did that for only a couple months. It was fun. It was a fun little teenage job. Then I went to school, and I always looked at like on-campus jobs. But because I commuted, and my commute could be anywhere from 20 minutes to an hour, depending on traffic, it was just hard for me. Like, if I had lived on campus, I 100% would have gotten an on-campus job, like in the library, or like driving the buses around, or whatever. I absolutely would have, or like being a tour guide, or I don't know, something, but I never did that. So throughout college, I mostly had summer jobs, but the good thing was that I started my YouTube channel freshman year, and I didn't start making money right away. I would say I started my channel in January of freshman year. I would say at the start of my sophomore year is when I actually started to make money, so it wasn't a lot, but it was something. And so I had money in my pocket, because of YouTube, which to this day I'm extremely thankful for. It helped me buy my textbooks and all that. The summer after my freshman year, I think I just did catering again with my dad's company. I was still doing that, and like throughout the year too, there was like a holiday and I was off parties, New Year's parties, whatever. So I would work. On holidays, you would make a little bit more, which was good. The summer after my sophomore year, I became a waitress at a country club. And it's funny because it's the same country club that I had my Sweet 16 at. Yeah, I went in and I applied for a job. And let me tell you, when I say I hated working there, oh my goodness, working at a country club is like a whole other beast, because you have these members who pay a lot of money to be a member there, and go to the restaurant, use the pool, golf course, whatever. And in the summer, like, that's when it's really popping, so they pay all this money, so they feel very entitled, which I guess they are, because they do pay the money, so who am I to say anything? But a lot of them, not the nicest people. The moms who don't know how to discipline their children and just let them do whatever and be rude to the waiter. Oh man. So, alright, there were good and bad parts of this job. The good was I made very, very good money that summer. And this was around the time too where like YouTube kind of like was picking up, not really, but like a little bit. And so it was the first summer that I like financially was like, oh, like okay, I'm like doing kind of good, especially like for my age at the time. I don't know. I was 19. I think this was the summer that I turned 19. Yeah, it's the summer I turned 19. And so that was the good. The good also was I got in such good shape that year. Like, I lost so much weight because they had your girl working. I think my longest day was 18 hours because I don't know if it was that they were short-staffed. I think they were, but I would work doubles. So I would go to work at like, I'd get there at like 7 or 8 maybe, do like the breakfast and lunch shift, go home for 2 hours, and then come back and either do the dinner shift or work a party. And there were 2 levels, so there was a restaurant downstairs and then there was the catering hall, so there could be 2 things going on at the same time. And a lot of times if there were, they would make you work a double, and I would get home at like midnight again. So guys, please, if you take nothing away from this video, be nice to your waiters and your waitresses. Please tip them, smile at them, ask them how they're doing, because I guarantee you they're not doing that well. Please, do it for me. Do it for me. Be nice to them, please. Anyway, it is snowing. Wow. I feel like I blinked and it just like started like coming down. Anyway, yes, so be nice to them. But I lost so much weight. I was on my feet for 16, 17 hours a day. And it was summer, and a lot of times I was working outdoors, so I was sweating. During the day, there's like a pool deck and then the restaurant. And so you would work either one. So when I was working the pool deck, it was like 95 degrees outside. And there I am in like khaki pants and a polo shirt, wiping tables, carrying food trays. So I was in very good shape. I kind of liked working the pool deck though, because I became friends with the people who worked the snack bar, and they would like make me food. And on the pool deck, for the most part, you were working with kids, so all you had to do was know their last name, put it in the computer, and it goes straight to their account. So their parents didn't really had to go with them. And like working with kids is easy because they don't care. They get grilled cheese sandwiches and French fries and chicken fingers, and they're happy, And I would like learn their names, and we would be cool, So I didn't mind the pool deck too much, but man, I hated it because the biggest reason I hated it was because the other waiters hated me. The other waiters were older and whatever. And I remember there was one day, this guy came up to me, he was a waiter, and he was the one that trained me, so I thought we were cool. And he came up to me one day and was like, let me ask you a question. Do you need this job? And basically had this whole conversation with me, basically like, if you don't really need this job, like, you shouldn't work here. I remember I tried so hard not to cry. I did cry, but after he walked away. It was, yeah, they were not nice to me. They all spoke Spanish fluently, and they would talk about me right next to me. I don't speak Spanish fluently, but I know enough to know when you're talking about me. So I was just very uncomfortable. I didn't really have a lot of friends. Towards the end, there were like 2 guys around my age that started working, and we kind of got like cool, so that was better. And then towards the end of the summer, I got really good at it. And everybody was like, oh, like, okay, Sam, like, I see you. And I was like, no, we're not friends. Don't do it. Don't be fake with me. Just don't. And at the end of that summer, I said, bye. And then the following summer, they were like, oh, we want you back. Nope. I never went back. Never went back. I made good money, and I pushed through, and I was proud of myself, but nope, I did not go back. It was not, for so many reasons, it wasn't a good work environment. So that was the country club. And also just like working like the golf course during lunch, you'd get these men, they'd come and like smoke their cigars and like blow it in your face almost, and they'd like try to hit on you, and I was like, I'm a child, you're like 50 something, stop. But you have to be nice to them because they're the members. Ugh, it just, yeah, not the environment for me. So anyway, there's one story that I will never forget it. There was a golf tournament that day. There was a group of 4 men sitting at a table, and they were watching the tournament, and I came and I put their drinks down, and I just said, like, excuse me, I'm gonna block your view for a second. I guess I kind of set myself up for it, but I wasn't thinking of it like that. And one of them goes, oh honey, like, you are the view, or something like that. It was just, yeah, not for me. So anyway, then I went and I did my junior year, still doing YouTube all throughout. The summer after my junior year, I got an internship, and it was an internship at the very place that I work now. So I have been there since I was 20, turning 21. So for like 3.5 years I've been there, which is crazy. But it's funny, I applied to so many internships for that summer, and my station was the only one that got back to me. The only one out of, I forgot how many, but quite a few. So that's why I always say, like, I was meant to be there, because I don't know. So I went in and did my interview, got the internship, even though I think they kind of already decided that they were going to give it to me, because when I got there, it was less of an interview and more of like a tour and a like, when can you start kind of thing. So I was nervous for like no reason. And I did my internship. I was there twice a week, and I didn't really get to do much. It was mostly just like shadowing and then like busy work, but it was never like go get food or go get coffee or anything. Never, ever, ever. So I'm thankful for that. Because a lot of production jobs, like for TV stations and whatever, internships, go get food, go get me coffee, go do this. They never did that to me, so that was really nice. So I was there, I think Tuesdays and Thursdays, if I can remember correctly. I was there from like 8 to 4, 8 to 3, something like that. So not bad. And then the other days I worked at a community center a couple of towns over from where I lived, and it was just busy work. Like, I'm not even gonna really talk about it much. It was filing, answering phones. When the community center had an event, they would do like birthday parties and club functions, Boy Scouts, like whatever. They would just just rent out the space and do whatever they wanted. So when they showed up, I would greet them, take their check, their payment. If you need anything, I'm here. Unlock the kitchen if they needed the refrigerator, you know, things like that. Unlock the doors if they needed the chairs. So it was more like office work. So it was nice. I had a whole office to myself because my like title was the director's assistant. So I was basically him when he wasn't there. So I would like run the building myself. I had a key. I would open it. I would close it. I would, you know, open the office and basically like run the building on my own. Sorry, I keep adjusting my shirt. It's a little big and it's annoying me. Anyway, yeah, so there wasn't too much to that job, but it paid decently, and you know, it kept me busy. I would do the internship 2 days a week, and then the other days I would go do that. Sometimes I would work that on the weekends as well, so it kept me busy. And then at the end of my internship, he's one of my bosses now, he came up to me and said, "Do you want a job?" And I said, "Oh, I haven't graduated yet. Like, I still have my whole senior year to work." And he said, "No, I know, like, we'll work with you." And I was like, really? Because towards the end of my internship, they allowed me to do a little bit more. They like trusted me with more. And one of my coworkers, she's like one of my closest friends at work right now, and I think she put in a good word for me and was like, she's a fast learner and blah blah blah, like you should offer her a job. So I became a freelance director, and so I trained for a few months starting in September of 2017. I would train maybe like 2 or 3 times a week, like 2 days on weekends, because I had classes 3 times a week, and on the 2 days that I didn't have class, I would go train, or maybe not. I forget. I don't know. But I would train for like 2-3 days a week, and then I would have school the other days. And I remember they had me train in the mornings. Yeah, I was there at 3 a.m. There were times I was there from 3 a.m. to noon, and then I would go straight to school and do like afternoon and night classes. That's what it was. Yeah, that's what I did. I like think back to it now and I'm like, dang, like I really grinded. I feel like I don't have that work ethic anymore. Like I wouldn't want to do that right now. So I mean, good for 20-year-old me. I don't know. I did that, and I was really bad at it at first. Like really bad at it. There were so many times I questioned. I was like, I'm not meant to be a director. I can't work in TV. Like, I started looking at other jobs because I was so bad, guys. And it was because my college, like, yes, I studied television, but there was no hands-on technical work. There was none of that. It was all just like the history of TV and the laws within TV, which is good to know, but also did not help me in my career at all. But whatever. So I had, like the first couple months, I had anxiety every morning. I wasn't sleeping a lot because I had anxiety about the next morning. And then like staying up and doing homework, but then also having to wake up at 2 a.m. Like it was a lot. But I did it, and I freelanced for 2.5 years. So all throughout my senior year, the summer afterwards, the year after I graduated, then that summer, and then last February, actually almost a year ago, 11 months ago, I became full-time. And now I am a very confident director. And I'm not saying this to brag, but I'm just like comparing to how I was when I started, because, you know, we all have to get over that learning curve with every job. No matter what your job is, there is a learning curve, and you have to learn and you have to get comfortable. And now I am quick to think on my feet. I'm good at troubleshooting. I have fun with it. I like to be, well, you can't really be that creative in news, but you know. And here I am. I've been a full-time director for almost a year. And job, so that's a good sign. Going forward, I don't know if I want to work in news forever. News, as you can imagine, especially with the last year we've had, it's exhausting, it's mentally draining, it's not uplifting, it's exhausting, to say the least. So, I don't know, I don't really have a plan as to how much longer I'm gonna be there. I'm kind of just going with it. I've only been there full-time for a year, so like, you know, maybe after 2 years full-time I'll start thinking about it. But I would love to direct like a talk show, like a morning show, like not the Ellen show, but like the Ellen show, like, you know, like a show like that. I would love to work behind the scenes on a show like that. Something that's, you know, doesn't necessarily have to be live, although I prefer live television, but it doesn't have to be live. Something like live to tape, like Ellen is live to tape, so they tape it like it's live, but then they are able to edit it and do post-production, and then it airs on a later date. So maybe something like that. I don't know, but I'm very comfortable with where I am right now, and I know I won't be there forever, but I'm so thankful to the place that I work. They've been so like good to me, and I've learned so much from such a young age, and I'm excited to see what happens next. I don't know, I'm 24, I'm still young. I'm sure I'll have a few other jobs in the future, but yeah, so that is my job history from the very beginning. I'm glad I had parents that pushed me to work. I know people my age who literally have